First up, President Donald Trump is launching a colossal $15 billion defamation and libel lawsuit against the New York Times. He's accusing the paper of being a mouthpiece for the Democrats and making false statements for far too long. This legal showdown is set to shake up the media landscape. Then, we're looking at how Donald Trump's approach to Russia is a stark departure from Ronald Reagan's legacy. Trump's recent actions, including his stance on sanctions and NATO, are raising eyebrows and questioning America's role on the world stage. Is he caving to Moscow? Next, the Trump administration has issued a strong declaration. Colombia has failed in its fight against drug trafficking. Despite this, the U.S. will continue to provide funding, but the message is clear: Bogotá needs to step up its game. What does this mean for the ongoing war on drugs? And finally, a major shakeup at the Federal Reserve. Senate confirms Stephen Miran, a key Trump pick, to the Fed board just ahead of a crucial interest rate vote. This move is raising questions about the Fed's independence and Trump's influence on economic policy. Don't miss any of these critical updates. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and join the FlickPop family. President Trump declares war on the New York Times with a $15 billion lawsuit. In a move that could send shockwaves through the media industry, former President Donald Trump announced he is filing a massive $15 billion defamation and libel lawsuit against the New York Times. Trump alleges that the newspaper has acted as a virtual mouthpiece for the Democratic Party, repeatedly publishing false and damaging statements about him, his family, and his businesses. This legal action follows a recent Times report concerning a suggestive note and drawing allegedly connected to Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday party in 2003, which Trump and his team have vehemently denied any involvement in creating. The former president stated on his social media platform, Truth Social, that the Times has been allowed to freely lie, smear, and defame me for far too long, and that stops now. He specifically called out the Times' endorsement of Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential election as an example of biased reporting. This lawsuit is the latest in a series of legal challenges Trump has initiated against media organizations, which he frames as an effort to restore integrity to journalism. The suit is slated to be filed in Florida. This legal battle highlights the intense friction between political figures and the press, with billions of dollars at stake. The outcome could set significant precedents for libel law and journalistic practices. Stay tuned as we break down the complex geopolitical implications of Trump's foreign policy decisions. Next up, we're examining how Trump's stance on Russia is challenging long-held American foreign policy legacies. Trump's Russia policy, a dramatic break from Reagan's legacy. As President Donald Trump prepares for a state visit to the UK, his foreign policy decisions, particularly concerning Russia, are drawing sharp contrasts with the legacy of Ronald Reagan. While Reagan was once criticized for being too tough on the Kremlin, Trump is now accused of the opposite, frequently appearing to cave to Russian President Vladimir Putin. This comes at a critical time, with Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine. Trump recently delayed imposing punishing sanctions on Moscow, even after Russian actions that have drawn international condemnation. He's also been downplaying incursions by Russian drones into NATO nations, a stance that would have astounded Reagan, who was instrumental in winning the Cold War. Trump's approach often links seemingly disparate foreign policy issues, seeking leverage, and blurs the lines between allies and adversaries, sometimes prioritizing personal policy goals over long-standing alliances. His foreign policy often boils down to transactional financial arrangements, and he has been known to adopt Putin's rhetoric, even blaming President Biden and Ukrainian President Zelensky for the war. The implications of Trump's leniency towards Russia are significant, potentially emboldening Moscow and creating dangerous scenarios for European security and NATO's resolve. Allies are desperately trying to keep Trump aligned with Ukraine, highlighting the delicate balance of international relations. But is this leniency a strategic move or a dangerous miscalculation? Next, we're turning the spotlight to South America and a tough stance on drug trafficking. U.S. declares Colombia failed in drug war, yet funding continues. The Trump administration has officially declared Colombia as having failed demonstrably in its obligations to combat drug trafficking over the past year. This significant symbolic move, despite continuing U.S. funding, is likely to strain the already delicate relationship between Washington and Bogotá, especially given that counter-trafficking is a stated top priority for the administration. The determination specifically blames Colombian President Gustavo Petro, an outspoken critic of Trump, citing record-high coca cultivation and cocaine production under his leadership and his failed attempts to seek accommodations with narco-terrorist groups. Despite the criticism, U.S. assistance is deemed vital to the national interests of the United States. Other nations, including Afghanistan, Bolivia, Myanmar, and Venezuela, also received similar designations. Petro, in response, highlighted the sacrifices made by his country's police and soldiers in fighting drug trafficking. This decision underscores the complex challenges in international drug enforcement and the differing approaches between the U.S. and its allies. The situation raises questions about shared responsibility in tackling the global drug trade. Meanwhile, a critical appointment is being made that could sway the course of the American economy. Prepare for major shifts in economic policy as we look at a key Trump administration appointment to the Federal Reserve. Senate confirms Trump's Fed pick, Stephen Miran, ahead of key interest rate decision. In a move that has stirred debate about the Federal Reserve's independence, the U.S. Senate has confirmed Stephen Miran, a key economic advisor to President Donald Trump, to the Fed's Board of Governors. Miran, who chairs the Council of Economic Advisors, is the first sitting White House official to join the Fed's board in its current form. His confirmation, by a narrow vote of 48-47, comes just as the Fed is set to make a crucial decision on interest rates. Miran is a known supporter of Trump's economic policies, including global tariffs, and is expected to play a central role in Trump's push for a significant interest rate cut aimed at boosting the U.S. economy. Critics, like Senator Elizabeth Warren, have voiced concerns that Miran may not act as an independent voice and could be seen as a puppet of the administration. This appointment follows Trump's ongoing pressure on the Fed and its chair, Jerome Powell, to lower rates and even an attempt to remove another Fed governor, Lisa Cook. Miran's inclusion on the board is seen as a significant step in Trump's effort to reshape the central bank. The Fed's upcoming decision, with Miran now a voting member, will be closely watched for its potential impact on inflation, employment, and the broader economy. That's all the headlines for now, but we're not done yet. Stick around for a rapid-fire recap and your full call to action. And that's a wrap on today's top stories. We saw Donald Trump launching a massive $15 billion lawsuit against the New York Times. His foreign policy is creating ripples by diverging from Reagan's tough stance on Russia. The U.S. declared Colombia failed in its drug war efforts despite continued aid. And Stephen Miran, a Trump appointee, has been confirmed to the Federal Reserve Board right before a key interest rate vote. Don't miss out on any of the breaking news. Make sure you're subscribed to FlickPop, hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and let us know in the comments which story you found most shocking. Follow us on all social platforms for more exclusive content.